With a name like Scotch, we're talking about water quality for a company called Brewer Science. If you were expecting a talk about beer, I'm sadly disappoint you. If you do or do not know who Brewer Science is, actually Brewer Science was named for our founder, Terry Brewer, about 40 years ago or so. And he revolutionized the chemistry that's used in lithography for the silicon industry, the semiconductor industry, inventing the anti-reflective film that transformed how lithography was done 40 years ago. From beyond that, we are a chemical company, a chemistry company, material science company. We've taken that experience and moved into packaging, chip-level packaging mainly, and moved then into printed electronics, which is what I'm going to talk to you today about. So, smart devices is a small business within a larger company with Brewer Science. And I'm here representing that business. So, we actually have quite a history in printed electronics. We started back in 2007 timeframe, and started working on carbon nanotubes and functionalizing carbon nanotubes, and we made carbon nanotubes inks that we sold under fairly small volumes. But what we realized over time is that our customers didn't know how to handle the inks, they didn't know how to print the inks, so we had to develop the capabilities for printing our own inks so that we can teach our customers how to do that. And that led further to us out of necessity, then developing our own sensors. We're using our own materials to develop our own sensors. We started in gas sensors or gas detection, VOCs, methane, humidity, temperature, those sorts of things, and developed that based on CNTs. Later worked on in water sensors and strain sensors and so forth. So. Over the years, out of necessity, our customers don't know how to handle our devices, so we had to move up the value chain and figure out how to do the electronics, the systems integration, the firmware development, the software. So out of necessity, starting with our materials, we've now reached the whole value chain, the capability of the whole value chain, so that when we interact with customers now, they come in at any point during this value chain, and we're able to work with them along that space. So our core is materials, and material science is where we started, but then have developed into sensors and in integrated systems. We have 3 sensor platforms generally: gas detection, not just presence, but quantitative measurement. Our main gases that we're focused on now are CO2, CO, and hydrogen. Those are based on our CNT sensor technology, and also an electrochemical oxygen gas sensor. We have water sensors that are focused on nitrate, lead, or other heavy metals like cadmium, copper, pH, temperature, ion conductivity. The picture there in the center shows a 3-sensor device, temperature, ion conductivity, and nitrate. Most of our water sensors are based on electrochemicals cells, not on our CNT devices. And then one thing to note is that although we are a chemical company, we use commercially available materials when they're available. So we'll use the same inks that the rest of you use, conductive traces. We don't want to reinvent what already exists. But when materials don't perform the way we need them to, or that they don't exist, which is often the case, we have the luxury of being able to develop those materials ourselves for use in our own sensors. So, for example, our strain sensor that we've developed over time uses our proprietary ink. That we don't sell, but we use in our strain sensor. So it has a pretty high gauge factor and a tunable temperature coefficient of resistance. So that's sort of an overview of what we're doing in smart devices.